What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard with a Orzhov built around Athreos Shroud-Veiled. Obviously, this is a super sweet card from Atheros that saw some play in the Atheros Standard. Not really competitively too much. It's not that I recall, but I did see some play in like kind of a janky style decks, and even a little bit kind of after the Atheros Standard. Was it Core Set came out after that? Whatever. I don't remember exactly at this point. But anyway, super sweet card that saw play initially, and it kind of trickled off, and it seems to be kind of a forgotten card these days. But very, very powerful card. And with things like Skyclave Apparition, I mean, this card alone I think makes Athreos worth taking a look at, because Athreos is super sweet. So probably not familiar with this or forgot what it does. 6 mana for a 4/7 legendary enchantment creature god, indestructible, just like all the other gods, Klothys and Heliod, all that. It does need devotion. This one needs devotion white and black to 7 before it becomes a creature. And this powerful ability here is, beginning of your end step, you put a coin counter on another target creature. And whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies, or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. That's your control. You get to target any creature, dies, exile, comes back to the battlefield under your control. So you can target your own and get some value off of, like our Skyclave Apparition, which I already highlighted, or you can target your opponent's creatures and just basically steal it, right? You kill it, it dies in combat, they have to sacrifice it, whatever, and you get to control it. So we're very slow, grindy deck, just trying to get some nice Athreos value. We're running 3 copies. I do want to see it often. We are built around Atheros, so we kind of have to see it as consistently as possible, but don't really want all 4 and just be stuck with, dead copies. Because it's indestructible and it's 6 mana, so definitely don't want to feel like I'm running, all the copies and, I have 1 or 2 copies stuck in my hand that I can't even play, So 3 copies feels perfect. And the other nice thing is, at the beginning of your end step, you put a coin counter on another target creature. So it doesn't say like with Sheville, where Sheville says, hey, if you don't already have a counter on something, put a counter on it. This one says, doesn't care. If you have 10 coin counters already on creatures, you got to keep putting more coin counters on. Doesn't care. So that's pretty awesome. We just keep doing this. So we are running a fair amount of removal, but obviously we are very creature heavy, so we can kind of maximize value off of Athreos. So we're playing some janky cards that don't see a lot of play, but cards that I've kind of looked at and wanting to find a home for, and I feel like this is a pretty decent spot for them. But Athreos alone gives you pretty good value. So what we got here, we do have some interaction with 3 Bloodchief Thirst and the 2 copies of Heartless Act. And first creature here is Charming Prince. It does have Enter the Battlefield trigger, which will be pretty common here. When entered, we scry 2, gain 3 life, or we can exile another creature we own and return to the battlefield under our control at the beginning of the next end step. So depending on the situation, earlier in the turn game, you might want to scry 2, just kind of fix your draws, look for more lands, look for your Athreos, whatever. If you're up against an aggressive opponent, then you might need to just gain the life just to help, give you some breathing room, since you are a slower deck. And you can also bounce your, Skyclave Apparition with this as well, if you're not up to the 6 mana for Athreos. So there's nice things we can do, nice synergy here. And it's just a reasonable creature to bounce with Athreos here as well in certain situations. So all 4 Skyclave Apparitions. Double white here does help us count towards our devotion, of course. And we get to exile non-land, non-token permanent with mana cost 4 or less. And all 4 copies of Altar of the Pantheon. It's going to help us with our devotion. It increases it by 1. We get to add 1 mana of any color, and if we have a god, demigod, or legendary enchantment, we gain 1 life. That only applies to the Athreos. So if we have Athreos in play, then we will gain 1 life for what it's worth. Here's a card that hasn't seen a ton of play. I always thought it was kind of interesting, like it should have some playability to it. 4 mana, 4/2 isn't really great stats. The 2 toughness is definitely something to be desired. If it was at least 3 or even 4, this would be definitely probably seeing some play by now, but it really hasn't. I haven't seen this played in any decks. I've kind of looked at it, trying to squeeze it in here and there, and I feel like we have a decent home for it here. So running all 4 copies, just trying to play around with it and get some value. So Wicked Guardian, when it enters, we may have it deal 2 damage to another creature we control. If you do, draw a card. Well, you're trying to put coin counters on your creatures potentially, and maybe you get them another Enter the Battlefield trigger from your Skyclave Apparitions. You can exile something else. Maybe the Charming Prince, you can get another Scry. And we also have another creature we're about to get to here, the Solemn Simulacrum. They all have 2 toughness. So you can blow them up with your Wicked Guardian entering the battlefield. Get that value with your Athreos and the re-entering the battlefield trigger, plus in case of Solemn Simulacrum, when it dies we draw a card. So Wicked Guardian we draw 2 cards. That's super sweet, right? So yeah, there's some nice synergy with the Wicked Guardian and the Solemn Simulacrum, the Skyclave Apparition, and the Charming Prince. So we have 3 different targets, all 4 copies of each of those, so definitely should be getting some value off the Wicked Guardian. Of course, Solemn Simulacrum helps us ramp since Athreos is pretty expensive at 6 mana. We have some other top end here as well. So we gotta search for a land, basic land, put on the battlefield tapped, and then when it dies, we get to draw a card. Do have some more interaction here in Elspeth Conquers Death, which of course lets us put creatures back onto the battlefield from our graveyard as well. Also running 4 copies of Clackbridge Troll. 8/8 trample haste. When it enters, our opponent gets 3/0/1 goat tokens. At the beginning of combat, you can, if your opponent can sacrifice a creature, we gain 3 life and draw a card, and we tap our Clackbridge Troll. So this gives us a kind of a card draw engine. Obviously not the best thing to bounce and keep giving our opponent goat tokens, but if we have counters, but you know, if your opponent is running out of creatures to sacrifice, and they've already sacrificed their goat tokens or that block with them your other creatures, well, you can get nice value by making them sacrifice the thing that you have a coin counter on. Maybe you haven't drawn your removal, your Heartless Act, your Bloodchief's Thirst, still stuck at the bottom of your deck or whatever. Well, you can still make them sacrifice it with the Clackbridge Troll and get that Athreos value. So it definitely puts your opponent in a tough spot, or it just draws you cards and gains you life. So either way, it's a pretty solid option for us. The other card here doesn't see a whole lot of play. Super janky, not super great for what it does. A 6 mana for a 5/5 flying chapel, which is okay, but not super competitive. When as additional cost, we do have to sacrifice a creature. So if we have a coin counter on any of our creatures already in play, we do get that value off Athreos by sacrificing it, having it come back down. And when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So if we can get a coin counter on this and have it die, well, it's going to re-enter the battlefield, and your opponent's going to have to sacrifice another creature. So, pretty sweet. And, you know, 5/5 flying trample body isn't terrible. Mana base here kept it pretty simple with the 24 lands. We do have the Solemn Simulacrum and, you know, Charming Prince to help us kind of draw and scry, whatnot. So, 8 plains, 8 swamp, 4 pathways, and 4 Temple of Silence. Did build this initially as a best of 1 list, but I think we can make it into a best of 3. So, we're going to play around with 3 Duresses. Couple Kitesail Freebooters, another creature to kind of potentially abuse with our Athreos. Elspeth's Nightmare, just nice versatility, gives some graveyard hate as well. Necromentia for the Ugin and other kind of linear matchups. Woe Strider for like maybe Mill and the Rogue matchup in particular with lots of removal, counter spells, Mill, things like that. We can kind of escape this, keep getting value. We can, you know, sack something that they go to target with its, you know, activated ability here. 2 Luminous Broodmoths, another creature that can give us value for creatures dying potentially, and 2 Shatter the Skies for the kind of go wide, you know, Scoot Swarm or whatever type of shenanigans, and just kind of clean up certain go wide fast decks. All right, begins Bad Nad. On the play, it's a little sketchy, but we have some nice removal here, and a Solemn if we can find some more lands. So we'll give it a try. Alright, deck trolling us here with a 6-drop. Gotta love that. Valakut Awakening as a land. Some kind of a combo deck. Showing mono red so far. It is playable. We'll scry, look for some lands. Holding up a Shock or a Spike Field Hazard here. Don't need a second Prince. We'll take a Swamp. White Source would have been ideal for the Apparition, but we're just going to take any lands at this point. Just trying to get to Solemn. Would have been nice to Apparition that Exploration, but don't think they can do much with it this stage of the game. Oh, just mono red. Furious Rise. That's a card. No creatures, but get that Furious Rise. Tempting to Apparition there, but I think we're gonna just go for the land. Now we have ECD or potentially Athreos or something next turn if we draw another land. Well, we have 2 Valakut Explorations. Oh, Storm's Wrath. Kinda want to just Elspeth that Valakut. Furious Rise doing nothing for them in this spot. So have fun with that, opponent. Probably drop Athreos next turn. Athreos. Definitely want to deal with that. Don't like what they might be able to do with a Perforos in play. Sweet. Get a nice 3/3 Solemn Simulacrum. Let's show them what we're about. And if they have another Storm's Wrath or some other removal, even exile removal, we get it back. Torbrand. Yeah, we'll scry. Alter, nah. I think we can do better than those. Goremand. Sack the Solemn. Or about Swamp, I guess. Draw a card. Counter on our Goremand. That's probably the one they're going to have the hardest time dealing with. Okay, that's a thing. We can't Skyclave Apparition that. Can Clackbridge Troll though. Does get our devotion up. Swing all out. Gonna try to kill one, but not sure it's worth it. We're taking 7. See if they got a Storm's Wrath here. Just a Torbrand. Well, 1 mana short of Heartless Act, so they definitely have some time to do something here. We can tap our altar just to gain some life at least. That was nice. That was nice. Oh man, that was just the way we drew it up. Yikes. Fiery Emancipation mono red. That's some nasty stuff they got going on over there. Also, we do need to deal with Torbrand. But they also have some stuff we can duress. Skyclave can hit Torbrand plus some of their Valakut Awakening and whatnot. So we're gonna Necromentia, try to hit the Fiery Emancipation or maybe a Torbrand, something. What else could they be running? Probably some X spells, like a Volcanic Geyser. Something like that, I would imagine, but hard to say for sure. Probably good. Maybe bring in some Broodmoths for the Wicked Guardians, but we'll see. Let's see if we need them for game 3. Matt Goremand, it's a pretty janky card, but in this deck it can put in some work. Like our opponent is cute with the Torbrand, Emancipation, all that. Well, they don't care about exile. Athreos does not care about exile. On the draw, we can keep Apparition and Solemn. Hopefully we draw lands. If not, then probably just die. There's a Charming Prince, that'll help. Obviously you want to wait and play your pathways until you kind of know what your mana situation is looking like. Alright, Charming Prince, just find me some lands. Yeah, I don't want to dress stuck on 2 lands, so we'll bottom those. Temple of Silence, it is a land. Apparition, we already have one in hand, so I think I'd rather just bottom and just really just dig hard for lands. If we stuck on lands against this style of deck, we are going to lose. Pretty much guaranteed. Because they're going to find their combo pieces and do some nasty stuff. I mean, I guess you can justify firing that off. I'm going to Solemn here. Tempting to Apparition, but I think I'd rather Solemn. Alright, so we got a pretty good split here. Say Torbrand, we can Goremand if we find untapped land. Yep, just another exploration. So they're gonna get all kinds of value. There it is. Let's just troll. Necromentia. Okay, so we can get Fiery Emancipation next turn. Also, yeah, we can do Necromentia and Apparition, one of these explorations. Yikes. Perforos is pretty nasty. Fiery Emancipation. Okay, Sundering Stroke. That's pretty nasty. Wow, 4 copies. Let me draw a card, gain some more life. Athreos. Oof, it's tempting to play that. We see what's in their hand though, so we'll not really sure what we want to do here. Goremand with mana open, and Perforos is a creature. That's quite a bit of damage. Say no blocks. It's a Goremand. We do have some tokens here to sacrifice, so don't think we can pull away from here. The Sundering Stroke. How much damage is that? That's a lot. So we gotta take out the We're a little limited on what we can do. Don't think we can pull this one off. Let's see what we draw. Apparition is good. Actually, no, because we're doing this. And Charming Prince. Gain life. I'll say no attacks. It's tempting. We have two creatures back on blocks. They Storm's Wrath, they lose their Torbrand. And then Perforos loses Devotion. Yikes. Not every day you lose to a Sundering Stroke. Nightmare does hit Torbrand as well. So it might actually be worth it. Yeah, unfortunately, those Duresses were not very well sequenced in our deck. Let's scry away 2 of them consecutively when we're stuck on 2 lands. So we did get rid of 1 Sundering Stroke out of their hand. They just happened to top deck another one. Not ideal, but we have the Charming Prince here to scry, and lands are not a issue with this hand, so why not? Take away their value engine there. Scry into something that's not a land, please. We'll bottom the Guardian. I think we're doing damage to our Charming Prince. Well, maybe on curve it might be worth it, just to draw a card. Give them an excuse to stomp. I mean, they're probably running all 4 Torbrands, so we might want to keep this. I mean, we have Apparition. They need some good draws behind this, so we'll see. If they do top deck a Torbrand, we'll definitely want to make sure we have a way to deal with that. We can deal with the Bone Crusher Giant. Now we're just kind of at the mercy of our deck. That is not what we're looking for. Got him down to 11. Oh, they're drawing all their tap lands here. Nyx Lotus with 0 Devotion. Ooh. Skyclave Apparition. What do you got? Now we're cooking with fire. We got our Athreos. All right. Against Big Bad Mono Red Burn. Stomp the Charming Prince and play the Bone Crusher. You got it. You know, block. Well, we already have a coin counter on our Apparition, so let's put one on their Giant. Hit me for 6. Yikes. All these lands are insane. We need something good off the top here. You're going to play your second Perforos. Got a 4-3. What do you got? Athreos is the only thing keeping us in this game. Doesn't matter. That just means they're more likely to top deck something good here. So let's get our Clackbridge down. We do get Devotion. They can tap down a Troll. They have 3 blockers. They take 2 from the Skyclave. They can block the Skyclave and kill it while it doesn't have any counters on it. But now they have empty board. We're at 13, so we should be okay. They tapped out, so yep. Whew, that was close. Yikes. Mono red big burn. Doing some nasty stuff to us there. Alright, abandons Fabian. I do have 3 lands. Need a second white source for the Apparition. Excuse me. But we'll give it a try. Got our Athreos in hand. Maybe do some stuff with a Wicked Guardian here. Depending on what draw, I'll probably play this on white. Heartless Act. Alright, so if they play a creature, Sultai. Mutate. Control deck with your Ashiok. Oh, can't make up their mind on turn 2. Oh, 4 colors. That's cool. Sultai plus white. Shrines. Alright. I assume it's a Shrines list, but we'll play a 4-2. We have something here. Instant speed. You have a Mystical Dispute or some kind of a counter spell. We got a 4-power creature on board, so that's something. Okay, just Thirst for Meaning. So now we'll get some insight into what they're up to. Combo list, or it could still be shrines. Maybe they're missing red mana. Yikes! Dreamchar and Cragplate Baloth. And a 4-color deck that's done nothing so far. So some kind of reanimation. It's a little scary, especially with this kind of a slower start from us. I think we swing. Yeah, we'll take a 6 land. Swing here. Do we deal 2 damage to our Wicked Guardian just to draw? Or do we just want multiple 4-powered creatures on board? I think we just want 2 4/2s on board. I mean, we know we're drawing the land. We got the Athreos in hand, so I think I'm fine with just holding up. If they do play a creature, we have Heartless Act. We also have Apparition, although at this point I don't imagine that we're going to have much targets for the Apparition. Actually, the only things we've seen have been big mana plays. Cauldron's Gift. A Dream Trawler in play. It does have a counter on it, so we can't even target it with the Heartless Act, and then they get to go off. Yeah, we have no way of dealing with something like this. I don't know if that's fortunate or if they're super consistent with doing all that. But we can definitely Necromentia them. And Elspeth's Nightmare to get rid of their graveyard. Actually, Heartless Act doesn't do much. Just Duress and Freebooter and just try to take their combo pieces out of their hand. Use the Nightmare to exile their graveyard. I don't know. Sometimes matchups in Magic are just super, like, one-dimensional, so to speak. Like, if we can deal with their graveyard, then they probably just concede. And if we don't, then we concede. Obviously, we had no answer for a Dream Trawler in that spot. We have Heartless Act to at least tap it down, but not with a counter on it, which gets from the Cauldron's Gift. And then they're just going to be start swinging in, gaining life, drawing cards. It's not really much we can do from that position. It's kind of our fault for being kind of a slower deck and doing nothing until turn 4. But kind of did what we could with the hand that we were given. Not going to keep that one, but this one I think is okay. Of course, we had our sideboard tech, and now this one we do not. Which means we probably just lose because we don't draw the hand disruption, etc., that we need. Which we had in our opening hand, but we couldn't keep it because we had one single land. Or do we even have any lands? I don't think we had any lands. Either way, it wasn't keepable. Our opponent just kind of gets to go off and do whatever they want here. Freebooter, take away something maybe. Double Nightmare. Well, they get to spend a Nightmare on our Freebooter, then look at our hand, but it's all creatures. Have a swamp, I guess. Drew the Elspeth Conqueror's Death just in time for them to make us discard it. Wow. I mean, this matchup cannot go any more miserably. But I guess cool for playing something different. It's nice of the algorithm to match them up with something that really doesn't have any good tech for what they're trying to do. Well, Solemn here. But Plains. And we can Temple, see what we draw into. Sure, we'll take a Duress. Probably get it right now. My opponent's stuck on lands. They don't have blue for the Thirst to start feeding up the yard, and then their only reanimation spell is 6 mana right now. They did find a Triome. That's cool. I just want to draw here. Alright, another Clackbridge Troll. Not ideal, but we'll take it. So we just have Thirst remaining, it looks like here. Not super impressive. Gonna draw 2 cards here, gain 6 life. And then block the 4/2. Take that action, grab a plains, I guess. Exile the Solemn. Could also exile the Guardian just to maybe draw. Have it come back down and ping the Solemn. I suppose thinning the deck of lands is the same as drawing, maybe? Put it down to 16, run out of things to sacrifice. They could just top deck a untap land and a Cauldron, and then get a Dream Trawler in play. That is untap land. And a Cauldron's Gift. Must be nice. Must be nice. You gonna sack your Dream Trawler? We just attack for with the troll for now. Could target Athreos or anything else as well, but I think drawing a card is reasonable. Target the Charming Prince here. We're down to 8. Can they really attack here? They could have a Shatter the Sky. We'll see what they got. If they attack, then they probably do. They do have 6 mana for a reanimation. And they go for the Titannoth Rex. Cool. Opponent gains 6 up to 14. Land. Perfect. Yeah, sack your Titanoth. Well, let's force the issue here. It's going to be pretty difficult to beat a Dream Trawler. Oh, that was exactly lethal. Wow. Draw is not very fortunate, but we got there. I think we need some removal for some of their bigger threats. Shatter could be a nice way to deal with Dream Trawler. Might kind of have to from what we're seeing. The Freebooter was okay. It wasn't super impressive. Yeah, I guess this will do. Obviously, we'd love to find our own Elspeth's Nightmare just to exile their graveyard with some creatures in it. That's quite a hand. That is impressive. Okay, keep this. Let's put the Goremand away. Charming Prince can scry us into some more lands here. Oh, we see one more land and we get our Solemn Simulacrum down. Take one land, not both. Opponent has perfect mana this time. Two different triomes already in play. So looking pretty good for them. And a Cultivate. So opponent off to a fantastic start. Ours a little bit sketchy. We have the turn 2 Prince, turn 3 do nothing, turn 4 Solemn. Let's see what they got. I mean, nothing's in their yard yet, so nothing. No reason to fire off a reanimation here. Hey, Elspeth's Nightmare. It's not bad, but it's not super amazing for them. They have to take our Elspeth Conquers Death next turn, though. Oh yeah, I got a Psycho in response. How do we always have Elspeth Conquers Death as a 2-of in our hand when they have Elspeth's Nightmare? We didn't see it at all in game 2. Just like we didn't see the Nightmare. But somehow every time they have this, they can take away our Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, they're going to reanimate their Titanoth Rex here. They know the Bloodchief Cirrus is in hand. I mean, it's 11-11. We have to kill it if they do go for it. They decide not to. Well, Athreos is super impressive, so we're going to fire that off. Okay, guaranteed they're going to reanimate something next turn, but not much we can do about it, so we're going to fire off this attack on the Solemn Simulacrum for 2. Don't care about our graveyard, really. The Solemn is a nice value play with the Athreos, but obviously doesn't count towards our devotion, so a little bit of a drawback, but still think it's worth it overall. Unfortunately, this is just not a good matchup for us. We're just not teched against this style of deck. Kind of been easing off on Graveyard Hate. We do have the Elspeth's Nightmare in our deck as well as a sideboard card, which we have in here now, but apparently the algorithm just says, nope, we do not get to play it. And if we do get to play it, it'll be too late. So guarantee they have something here. Yep, back for more. Get a fight. Our Solemn. You do get to bring it back into play, so that's pretty good. Clackbridge Troll. Have it die again. I'll take it. Hexproof, so Bloodchief Surf's not doing a whole lot of good for us. Okay, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. That's just what we needed here, I think. Alright, Crag Plate, Bailoff, bye! Guaranteed they have another back for more, I would imagine, here. But with the coin counter on our Goremand, though, it's going to be difficult for our opponent to get out of this. It's going to be very difficult. These two cards work amazing together. Sometimes the trick is just getting this dude into play. And Maria's Call as a land. And as a spell, cool. I don't think it matters too much. Destroy one of their 4/4s. I'm gonna sack a goat. If we attack. We're gaining life with the troll. Don't really want to put it on the troll, but put it on tokens doesn't really do us any good. Attack for 4. And nothing. Troll again. Get the draw. Play the Solemn as well, and now we have Devotion for Athreos. Glad game 3 is turning into be something more interesting. They do have a Bailoff in the yard. Yeah, assume both of them go bye-bye. Both these get tapped down, 2 tokens. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of life, so let's attack. They do have haste. That's fine. Put them down to 4. And we're going to play a Solemn here. And put the counter on the Solemn. They do have 4 in the air, but with this board state, not sure they can really attack. So I feel like we are getting there. Cool. Just like that, we get a bunch of creatures back into play. And from the dies trigger, we get a draw card as well. Sweet. Yikes. Our opponent is super rude. Library, just 2. And Troll. I think we should play this just for devotion. Might be worth it. I have a Bloodchief Thirst. They can kill our Troll next turn. It would be nice to have like a Mask Gorm or something to deal with these tokens we give for our opponent, but just like the Goremand a little bit better. Besides, the Troll Worm thing has already kind of been done, so it doesn't really do anything too interesting for us. Down to 1 card in hand. Troll. More goats. You kind of have to sacrifice here. There you go. Well, we can Solemn and Prince here. Seems decent. Hey, Solemn, get me a land. Charming Prince. Exile. I think we're grinding it out here. Maybe. 2 cards in hands. And I was going to say, probably see a concession here. We got there. Wow. So yeah, this deck is super grindy in typical kind of Orzhov fashion. Obviously, Doom Foretold. It's a pretty good example of what Orzhov is capable and likes to do. But obviously, we're not doing any of that. We're just doing Athreos. Athreos is super fun. So in case you've forgotten about Athreos or never played with it, card's amazing. It is part of Atheros, so it's not going to rotate until September. That's the next rotation, so you definitely have plenty of time to still play with this card. It is a mythic. I did have to craft 1 or 2 copies to round out this deck. You could even get by with playing 2 copies with all the scry and card draw if you wanted to. Obviously, Clackbridge Troll is a rare, but most of the things are pretty reasonable. Skyclave Apparition is something you should already have in your deck, in your collection, I should say. Charming Prince at rare is a little bit steep, but it's a pretty nice utility card, worthwhile in a lot of spots. But yeah, otherwise it's fairly budget friendly, a lot of uncommons and things like that. So, and you probably already have Trolls and Princes by now, depending on how long you've been playing. Solemn is a rare as well, but it's super good value in a variety of sort of mid-range and even control style decks. Sideboard kind of a work in progress. Definitely some cards you could definitely play around with. Not entirely sold on like Woe Strider, Luminous Broodmoth, Elspeth's Nightmare, stuff like that. But definitely a good starting point if you're looking to kind of make this into a best of 3 deck, which is definitely my preferred play mode, as you guys all are aware. But yeah, Athreos, super sweet card. Hope you guys give this one a look. And yeah, if there's anything else you want to see before the new set comes out, be a little bit slow with content here. Just been super busy with work and other stuff going on. Finally catching up to me. Kind of need to take a little step back from playing so much Magic and making content, because it is very time consuming, and it's something that I do as a hobby. I have no real ambitions of making a monetizing the channel or doing anything crazy like that. It's just something I do for fun, just to put some casual janky decks out there, because we just kind of probably all tired of seeing the same few decks all the time in Standard or Historic or whatever your preferred format is. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. So next time, make sure you jank with